What pisses me off, like he abandoned me and I'm like alone, like I'm here and I have to be alone. I don't want to be alone.
Natalie's biggest fear in life seems to be being alone, but after her breakup with Josh, maybe alone time is exactly what she needs. Maybe she needs to learn not to fear it so much. And that is also something that Stacey could benefit from too.
At times, a part of me feels it's time to let you go. You will always be in my heart. I'm sorry.
So it's time for the recommitment ceremony, and two couples that have been up in the air are Stacey and Florian and Julia and Brandon. Both are dealing with the repercussions of cheating. But let's start with Florian and Stacey. So we join them as Stacey is writing up her heartfelt vows. But as for Florian, well, not so much.
Did you write vows? I haven't seen you.
I have in my heart.
So you didn't really think about what you're just gonna like say what you say in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's annoying, isn't it? It's annoying that Florian doesn't feel the need to put any effort into a moment that's meant to be special. Let's not forget, Stacey wants to see more effort from Florian. It's precisely this sort of action, this lack of commitment, lack of effort, that explains why Stacey is on the fence about whether or not she should recommit. I mean, she feels like Florian doesn't see her.
I don't know how much thought he's putting into it. I feel like I don't know if he gets it. I feel like he understands my pain and everything I've been through.
Now, Florian shrugs off everything, so it's difficult to say whether or not he actually gets it. But this is the man that Stacey has married. He's not changed. He's always been like this. It raises the question, maybe Stacey should have come to terms with that by now. But when push comes to shove at the ceremony, Florian might not have many words, but what he does say is full of emotion.
You're my priority in my life. You're my everything in my life. And I'm sorry for everything which I did bad to you.
Florian tells Stacey that he loves her, and he also turns to the therapist and thanks them. He says, "Thank you for guiding us through all of our problems." He seems to have really benefited from this retreat. He thinks, at least, that he and Stacey are in a much better place now. But what does Stacey think? I mean, Florian was never in doubt. We all knew that he was going to recommit. But as for Stacey, well, that's not so clear. She's been very hesitant, and that was even before finding out that Florian may or may not have cheated again. Now, when she begins saying her vows, things don't look too good for Florian.
At times, a part of me feels it's time to let you go. You will always be in my heart. I'm sorry.
It really feels like Stacey might actually be about to dump Florian's ass. But just as things start to look bleak, they swing around. You see, Stacey goes on to recap what the therapist taught them both about respect and boundaries. If we want this marriage to work, she says, we both need to change our patterns and our behaviours. So if you'll commit to that, I'll recommit to you.
But I'm not going to leave you. If we recommit, you need to agree to respect boundaries and stay focused on our relationship.
I will, of course I will, says Florian. And so, after their two heartfelt vows and a kiss, Stacey and Florian are now recommitted to one another. Now, I'm not entirely 100% sure that either of them have really changed all that much from this experience.
Barbaric.
But here's to hoping anyway. Now, unfortunately, things aren't quite going to be so simple for Brandon and Julia. You see, they still have a massive parent-shaped elephant in the room.
I'm agreed to take a second opinion for baby.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear you agree to compromise about my parents.
Getting the second opinion about her fertility was supposed to make up for lying about cheating and for applying for her parents' visa behind Brandon's back. So I'm a little confused. It's a little weird that Julia's now expecting repayment for that. Not surprisingly, Brandon is very, very hesitant. He knows all too well that Julia's parents are divorced, they don't get on particularly well, and Julia herself fights a lot with her parents. So the dynamic with them all living under the same roof is going to add yet more stress and strain to a marriage that's already creaking from the strain that it's under. Brandon's concerned that there's a very real possibility it might ruin what they have.
When it's not in the best interest of our family, I have a hard time supporting something.
If you decide to not gonna help me with my parents, don't show up.
Ah, yes, it's good to see that they've learned absolutely nothing from this resort, isn't it? In what way does she think issuing an ultimatum is a healthy way to deal with a disagreement? This is so typical of how these two deal with every issue in their marriage. Their ability to talk through problems is absolutely horrific. Now, while of course I think it's wrong of Julia to have gone behind Brandon's back to apply for the visa in the first place, and I also think it's wrong of her to be giving him an ultimatum, I think we also have to be clear this is her parents that she's talking about. She loves them deeply, of course she does. So wanting them by her side is hardly the crime of the century. Now that doesn't excuse the way that she went about doing it, but I think Brandon, knowing this and knowing the ultimatum that he's just been served, is ready to move past it because he shows up for the ceremony and Julia's vows suddenly mean so much more.
That is 2 rocks, what I carry all the time in a mount. That is my rock, parents. That is your rock, baby.
Julia held on to the rocks that they made during one of their first group activities here at the resort. Now, as I'm sure you recall, Brandon's rock had the word baby written on it, and with that issue seemingly resolved, or at least with Julia agreeing to go and get a second opinion about her fertility, she feels happy to fling that rock to the side, and in doing so, almost killing Gino. So it's now up to Brandon to decide what he's going to do with the other remaining rock. Julia's rock. The rock that of course has the word parents written on it.
I love you with every ounce of my heart and soul. Though it may be difficult for me, I want to help you in any way to get your parents to the US.
Ah, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Whatever this is, it's working on me. Brandon and Julia's vows, the emotion, seems to have warmed my cold, cold heart. Now, with that in mind, I wonder how Natalie's feeling. She's the only one here on her own without a partner. She's guaranteed to not have a recommitment. Now, we joined Natalie in this episode as she was all alone in her bedroom the day after Josh had dumped her. And while on the day, while Josh was telling her he was breaking up with her, she put on a brave face. Today, that act has been dropped. It's very obvious that she's completely heartbroken.
I feel left behind. I feel used. This recommitment ceremony is not about Josh anymore. It's about myself.
Natalie has decided to attend the recommitment ceremony in a symbolic gesture to represent her showing up for herself. She's backing herself. She's recommitting to herself. Good for her. She needs this. Her entire life these last couple of years has been her trailing after Josh like a lost little puppy. It's about time that she started thinking about herself. But isn't it funny how Natalie's reaction to the breakup yesterday has left Josh reeling?
But the response I got was a little awkward, and it was almost like she was relieved, which is a little hurtful because of everything I actually have done for her.
Josh is so toxic and he doesn't even realise it. The fact is, Natalie took being dumped with grace. She told him that she forgave him for everything that he's put her through. She wished him the best for the rest of his life. How up do you have to be that the fact she said she was relieved he'd finally been honest with her has now caused him to get his panties in a bunch? It's as if he expected her, he wanted her to break down crying in his arms. I think he wanted that power over her. Now, Josh feels the way he does, right? He feels like Natalie should have been more upset that he broke up with her because of everything that I've done for her, he says. And by that, I assume he means not just in the relationship, financially too. It just feels like a bit of a gross comment to make, doesn't it?
I felt disrespected still in a way, you know?
Natalie is not like anybody I've ever dated before. She's cute, she's smart, she's funny, and I'll miss that.
In the space of about a minute, Josh goes from feeling disrespected by Natalie to now thinking what a great catch she is and how he's going to regret not having her in his life. It's insane to watch. Josh is such a cliche, isn't he? He's that guy. He's the guy that the minute he loses something, or the minute Natalie steps back from him emotionally, the minute he doesn't have the power anymore, suddenly he's attracted to her again. I said it before, I'll say it again. This guy is all about control. The second he thinks he can't have something, he needs to assert his control and get it back again. And that explains what we learn in the next episode. Spoiler alert, in the tell-all, we learn that Natalie and Josh were still sleeping together until very recently. But for now, Josh wants us to believe that he's off to work on himself.
I'm gonna, do some self-reflecting, and I think that I need that. I think I need to love myself a little bit more. I don't think I've been doing that.
Yeah, he needs to self-reflect, but I have the feeling he's not going to reflect on the right things. He's heavily implying that he's a victim in this relationship, when in actual fact, he's equally responsible for how toxic this relationship was. Now, not for the first time, Josh is leaving. So with Natalie by herself, feeling sorry for her, the rest of the girls send her a last-minute invite to come and join the group. Get ready with them all.
I wanted to invite Natalie. You guys are okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that, I don't think she should be by herself.
Yeah, I feel bad. I could text her.
It's a bit sad to see, isn't it? Like, unlike the rest of the girls, Natalie hasn't really formed a close bond with any of them. They're not friends. The other girls have invited her more out of pity at the last minute than because they particularly want her there.
Just feel sad for her.
But at the same time, it is self-inflicted. Natalie has been insufferable with most of the women the entire time that she's been there. In fact, she's actually tried to justify and explain that because she said she was a victim of bullying in her childhood and has meant that she's untrusting of other women. But regardless, she does show up to be with the girls, and she even opens up to them about how she's feeling.
What pisses me off, like he abandoned me and I'm like alone. Like I'm here and I have to be alone. I don't want to be alone.
You're gonna be okay without Josh.
The girls tell Natalie exactly what she needs to hear, which is that she is gonna be fine without Josh. She needs a clean break from Josh, and she needs to go and find someone who actually wants to treat her the way that she wants to be treated. She needs to find someone who's gonna give her the whole package, give her the house, the family, and the kids that she craves. And with that, toasting a fresh new start, the girls pop champagne, dress in white, and show up to the ceremony.
We want to acknowledge you, Natalie. We're all happy to see you here this evening. It's beautiful that you're showing up, that you're here for yourself.
Now, the therapist gives this lovely speech to Natalie. He talks about the beauty in recommitting to yourself, in moving forward. And I was fully expecting them to give her a moment to read her own speech out. I'm sure she would have loved that. She would have loved the opportunity for a monologue. We know what she's like. But sadly, it wasn't to be. Instead, she was forced to sit there and watch in silence until the very end. And it was only at the end, surrounded by all the happy recommitted couples, that they turned to her and toasted to her singledom.
Let's cheers to Natalie.
Don't get me wrong, it's a lovely sentiment from Stacey, but I think that the last thing Natalie wants right now is to be reminded that she's single again. All she's wanted with Josh over the last few years is stability, security, and a family of her own. But that hasn't happened, and now she's going to have to start again from scratch in her late 30s, and you can just tell how heavily that's weighing on her.
I understand that the love is the most precious thing in the world and I really crave for love. And I want to love and to be loved, but I probably have to heal first.
All we can hope is that Natalie has actually learnt something and grown from this experience. Hopefully, like Josh says that he's going to, hopefully Natalie can reflect as well. But sadly, I have a feeling that just isn't going to happen. I have the feeling Natalie is still perplexed. She still can't work out where it all went wrong.